To begin, my husband and I don't share finances. It's been like this for the 3 years of our marriage, and so far we've been doing well, though he'd sometimes try to get me to pay for him. I do it only when I want to do a nice thing for him, say invite him to a restaurant. This past week he got a bonus at work. He was overjoyed. He informed his entire family and planned to go out and celebrate with us. He picked the restaurant, meals, drinks, etc. I naturally thought he would pay for all that since it's his happy celebration, but it turns out I was wrong because when it was time to pay the bill, he told me to take care of it. I said, why? It's his celebration, not mine. But he insisted I pay and he'll explain later. I refused and demanded an explanation. He said that while yes, he is the one who got a bonus, he assumed I'd want to celebrate that and offer to cover the bill. When I talked about how ridiculous it was of him to assume I'd pay for not just his, but his family's meals, he said I should be happy for him instead of being visibly bitter. He then said he's yet to receive his bonus and begged that I take care of the bill now and he might consider paying me back later. I refused and only paid for what I consumed. After that, he and his family started talking about how inappropriate I was acting. Still, I took my purse and went home afterward because there was so much commotion when they started arguing about who would cover the bill. His mom spam called me for hours and went off on me at home, saying I spoiled his celebration and joy because I was feeling bitter, especially considering I had enough money to cover the bill right there and then. I said this wasn't my obligation, and he was the one who came up with the celebration idea. He argued that if the roles were reversed, and I got a bonus, he'd celebrate me and my achievements and pay for the damn meals after taking my family and me out. I casually said, well, that's just you, not me. Then he got even angrier and said that he had had enough with my juvenile antics and that he won't ever forget the scene I made at the restaurant in front of his family. He's been upset with me for days now. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It's common knowledge that you do not invite people to dinner and then expect for them to pay for everyone else. You don't trap your spouse in awkward situations like that either. He said the celebration was for his bonus. He invited everyone to eat out. Both of these, especially combined, implied that he was going to pay. He purposely set you up and he got his family in on it. He's using you to the point where I would argue that this is financial abuse, especially since he's done things like this before. I would take a careful look at this relationship and see if it will work. I would insist on couples counseling if I were you, counseling at the very least. Maybe I'm weird, but I paid for a celebratory dinner with friends when I got a bonus. Like the husband, I invited people, but I paid because I was the one with extra money after all. Not everyone gets a bonus, so it was a way to share my good fortune. This dude seems somewhat weird. Is he trying to make her look bad in front of his family or something? Why are you guys married? Do you even like each other? What on earth? LOL. You guys have separate finances. He didn't ask you beforehand? This was wildly tacky and presumptuous of him. The maybe I'll pay you back really sealed it for me. What a tool. I think you two have bigger issues here that should have been dealt with before you got married. He also claims if the roles were reversed, he would pay for a celebratory meal of hers. But I'm willing to bet he wouldn't. And to be honest, is getting a bonus really worth a huge celebration? Promotion, perhaps, but a bonus? OP, it seems like he feels entitled to your money. Honestly, I just wouldn't even bother with this relationship. He tried to tell you to pay, not ask. He tried to manipulate the situation at the end to make you feel guilty and pay. He didn't even guarantee to pay you back. Don't ever join finances. You won't ever have any money to spare. So I, 26 male, am getting married this summer to my college sweetheart Sam, but I'm having issues with my parents. I'm an only child and my parents were together for over 25 years, but I wouldn't consider it a good relationship. My dad was the provider, a hard worker, a great person, and a fantastic role model. He made great money and was able to let my mom stay home. My mom was a great mother, but as a person, she's selfish. I never saw her show any love to my dad. He was very affectionate and she wasn't at all. She would spend most of her time shopping or at our neighborhood pool. My mom didn't hate my dad, but seemed to like what he provided more than who he was. I could tell as I grew up that my dad was lonely. So growing up, my dad had a named Aunt Nicole. She would come round every so often with her husband. Well, about 5 years ago, she and her husband divorced, and she moved back to our hometown. I was in college during this time. I got a call from my dad to come home about 3.5 years ago. My dad sat me down and told me that he had an affair with Aunt Nicole, that he and Mom were splitting up. I was angry. He let me vent and scold him, always admitting his wrongdoing and not hiding anything. He and my mom went through a nasty divorce, with her constantly crap-talking him and trying to mess him up financially. Well, it's been 3 years since, and things have gotten worse. My mom won't sit in the same room as my dad. My dad is happy and is married to Nicole now. Nicole has been awesome to me, and after letting me call her out for bad behavior, she's been treating me as her own for years. We have a tight bond because we've known each other forever. The wedding has turned into a nightmare. My mom has started making all these demands. At first, she said she wouldn't come if Nicole was invited. We called a bluff on that. She said she didn't want to be at head table with my dad. I said fine. Well, I put him at another table with my fiancé's side of the family. Now she's saying she doesn't want Nicole included in the wedding planning, pictures, or rehearsal. Only the wedding, and then she has to go, because my mom won't be able to handle it. Then my mom demanded that Nicole leave the wedding for our mother-son dance. I told her that was ridiculous. She asked for a +1 to bring some random dude she met a month ago. My mom said she wouldn't pay for the wedding. My mom and dad are helping if she wasn't taken seriously. I told her last week to get over herself that the divorce was just as much hurtful as it was dad's, and I can always have Nicole step in for the mother-son dance if she can't get over herself. My mom's family has heard about the drama and thinks I'm being an idiot. My fiancé understands the dynamic and is sympathetic to my mom, but thinks it's getting ridiculous. Am I the idiot? I get that you're mad at your mom for being self-centered, and maybe she was at fault in your mind for your dad having an affair or whatever, but what a sad thing to say. You are not the idiot for not wanting her at your wedding, unless she can be civil about you involving Nicole in everything. But I don't see your relationship surviving this. The affair and divorce are so recent, I wouldn't have expected her to pay or even attend under these circumstances. Your glowing relationship with Nicole and her involvement in wedding planning. But what does her son's wedding? Or pay because her husband cheated on her? I get she's hurt and upset, and nothing can take that away, but she's an adult, and it's not her son's fault, so stiff upper lip for a couple of events for his sake. You are the idiot. How dare you blame your mother for being cheated on after a 25-year-long marriage? If your father had been a decent man, he would have divorced your mom if he had been so lonely and unhappy. Instead, your mother was disrespected and humiliated, and now she has a son who thinks she's deserving of such mistreatment, that she should watch as cheaters and homewreckers snatch her unsympathetic son away. You are really rude. Ah, yes, yet another my dad cheated, had an affair, or was otherwise an idiot. But, oh well, he's still my dad, so my opinion of him won't change at all. And screw my mom and her feelings story. And the icing on the crappy son cake is you denying her a +1, so she has to sit alone while her ex-husband and his affair partner get together and canoodle. I hope she skips the wedding and washes her hands of you. I have a 9-year-old dog. She's been living with me since she was a puppy. I feed her a diet of fruit, specialized kibble, and meat. She loves blueberries, apples, and bananas, and isn't a picky dog. She even eats carrots sometimes. She's not allowed chocolate, obviously, or grapes or raisins, onion, and garlic. I understand most people only really know about chocolate being toxic to dogs, but the other things listed are as well. My girlfriend recently moved in, and she will not stop feeding my dog unsafe foods. She knows about chocolate being toxic and never does that, but I'll see her toss a grape to her, and when I get upset, she says she forgot. She's upset because growing up, her parents' dog always ate leftovers, and the only thing they couldn't have was chocolate, and they were fine. I don't care. I was getting stressed out worrying about my dog all day, so I asked my boss if I could just bring her to work, and was told that was fine. However, my girlfriend is upset because she's home alone all day by herself, and I'm showing I don't trust her. My reasoning is that once she can show me, with me there to supervise, she knows the rules, I'll start feeling comfortable leaving my dog at home again, and until then I'm not going to let my dog be poisoned to appease her. She was extremely offended. I used the word poisoned, and she's been giving me the silent treatment all night. I mentioned the original problem in passing when some folks at work asked why I was bringing my dog in, and they said they'd never heard of dogs needing so strict a diet. Am I crazy here? I don't feel like I'm being overprotective, but maybe I am. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Weaponized incompetence. She's not forgetting. She doesn't care. If she can't simply stop feeding the dog other than kibble, she's not the one, man. Also, if she's tossing grapes to a dog, she's a moron. Find someone who can remember not to poison an animal. Question: if you can't agree on how to feed an animal, how are you ever going to agree on children? This is a small issue that can extend to bigger problems. I'd keep taking the dog to work and tell her to get a job or a hobby to keep herself busy while you're at work. Also, I bet everyone starts loving your work dog. I'm jealous I can't take mine to work. Agree. If you had a child together with a lethal peanut allergy, and she just forgot and served it a heaping peanut butter and jelly, just imagine the consequences. She doesn't seem to realize that you don't get to just forget not to feed anyone something poisonous to it or them. Until she can remember basic don't poison my baby rules. Yeah, she should lose dog privileges. So me, 26 male, and my girlfriend Rachel, 27, have been dating 2.5 years. We live together and have for the past year. So I don't get along with her sister Ashley, 31, at all. Like, I'll let her in the house whenever she comes over and give her a little wave. But that's it. The reason is that I don't think she's a good person. When we met, she was with her longtime boyfriend and, at that point, husband. They had been married for 4 years. I liked her husband, and he was one of the few guys my age at the family events. Well, about 2 years ago, Ashley left her husband for an older rich guy with 2 kids. She didn't even talk to her husband. She left divorce papers on the bed. I was the one who had to show up to make sure he was okay. To make matters worse, the rich guy was still married, so she moved right in after the guy left his wife and kids. My girlfriend was furious and didn't speak to her sister for almost a year, but eventually they started having a relationship again. But my girlfriend knows I didn't like her sister and never forced us to connect after that, so I didn't attend the second wedding. Another reason I don't like her sister is she's lazy and entitled. She's attractive and has always gotten by on her looks, even claiming that she only went to college for her Mrs. degree. She has never had a job. So now to my comment. I came home yesterday to Rachel and her sister on the couch. Ashley was hysterical and hyperventilating. I asked what was wrong. Rachel walked over to me and told me what had happened. Basically, Ashley showed up at her house and she was locked out. Her husband texted her that he was in love with someone else. She had moved in. And all of Ashley's things, along with the divorce papers, were at an apartment. He would pay the lease for a year, but they were done. I said, oh, well, at least the kids won't hate you anymore. Ashley always complained about her stepkids hating her. I then went back to our room to change. When I came back out to make food, Ashley asked me, "Is that really all you have to say?" I said, "Yep," and went about making a sandwich. When I looked up, Ashley was staring at me. And I said this exactly. "What do you want, Ashley? Do you want me to feel bad for you? It's called karma. Just make sure the next one is single." And I walked back to my room. Ever since, my girlfriend has been upset with me. She said that she understood I didn't like her sister, but I could have faked it for a minute. I said that she knows I'm not good at faking, and her sister got what has been coming to her for a long time. She's been doing crappy things to people since high school, but she's never held accountable. So karma happened. Am I the idiot? Am I the only one who laughed? Not the idiot, obviously. She needed to hear the truth. Telling the truth shouldn't make you an idiot, but unfortunately, in our time it does, as it seems many people are unable to deal with the truth. And your girlfriend wants you to fake it. So, does her sister feel good about the crappy things she's done? Does she feel she's in the right? Sister-in-law is a crappy person, and crappy people need others to show or tell them how crappy they are. Girlfriend needs to wake up and stop enabling, because by faking it, that's exactly what she's doing. I'm gasping here, too. She got herself into it. Marriages out of affairs usually don't make it. Glad you're not enabling her. You were way nicer to her than she was to her ex. Women like that will get over it quickly, and she'll go back to being the same insufferable idiot she usually is. You are the idiot, not because you're wrong, but because you're causing issues for your girlfriend. She had yet to do anything to you and you could have walked away. In these situations, I like to remind myself that I love my partner more so than I hate certain family members. So, be basically civil toward them, don't rise to any bait, and then exhale once they've gone on to bother someone else. My mother-in-law came over for dinner tonight. I made dinner for her, my partner, our 2 kids, and myself. I didn't immediately sit down to eat as I was still tending to the kids, getting them drinks, etc. After I sat down, I'd had maybe a third of my dinner. They'd eaten around half of theirs at this point, when my oldest son started to have a meltdown. I made him leave the table and go to his timeout corner. I also left the table to supervise him. I told my partner and his mother-in-law I'd be back to finish my dinner. My oldest son says he's very tired, so I put him in the shower and get his PJs ready after he's finished his dinner. After sorting out my son, I asked my partner where my dinner was. He said he moved it to the kitchen. I go to investigate, only to find that mother-in-law has piled my plate full of rubbish and my partner has thrown my dinner out with the garbage. I'm furious. I tell him that I said I was coming back to my dinner and he had no right to move it, let alone throw it out. Mother-in-law leaves and my partner walks her to her car. They have a conversation while outside and apparently I'm a massive idiot for causing a scene because my dinner got thrown out. That mother-in-law was only trying to help and I should have just been grateful. Now my partner is angry with me and my mother-in-law is angry with me. Am I the idiot for being annoyed that my dinner got thrown out? Not the idiot. You were the only parent parenting. Your partner didn't stop eating to supervise time out or get the other kid ready for bed. They just sat around with their mother throwing your food out that you cooked and told them you'd be back, then had the nerve to get mad at you. Girl, this is some wild stuff. This one truly gags me. Screw both of them. This right here. Why in the heck could the husband not look after his own child while OP finishes her dinner? She cooked and looked after the kids while all they did was throw out your dinner that you said you'd be back for and then told you you must be grateful for their help. What help? Controversial opinion. Generally, it's not abnormal for one partner to take care of the children if the other one has family around. This only works if both
sides come around reasonably evenly and not often. Still, it's not that outside the realms of reality for me to be expected to look after children if my partner's family comes around and vice versa. They threw out her dinner. I'd cry if someone threw out my dinner. This isn't a mother-in-law issue, though. It's a husband issue. He went outside and talked crap about you with his mom. Nah, mate. He sat and ate his dinner uninterrupted while you dealt with the kid's temper tantrum and then bedtime single-handedly without helping. The meal you also cooked. No. It sounds like he also didn't even bother cleaning up. Your partner appears to be the trashy one.